Hello, my name is Alexei Novitzky, and for today's meditation exercise, I'll be reading a section of The Infinite Pool of Experience and Awareness, and this one comes from the fifth dimension. But before we get started, just go ahead and grab your nunchucks, do a little twirl, smash that like and notification, and we'll go ahead and get started. So here we go. Introduction. In our ordinary world, we have three directions of physical motion, X, Y, and Z. We also have the flow of time, T. All of these structures are the result of one primordial energy interacting with human consciousness to give us our experience. E equals mc squared is simply energy in our experience and does not include the energy of consciousness. In the crystal of time, we discover that habitable zones exist around the center of time where our acceleration is equal to the speed of light. We learn that light state potentialities exist across all time. We see that these orbital distances relate directly to the density of an individual's experience. This direction of conscious density could be considered the fifth dimension of experience. It is the richness of your experience. As our accelerative magnifying lens orbits the center of all experience or time, we see our perception is split in two. Our consciousness, the easy user interface, makes reality friendly and easy to use. Let's now take one more step out and look at the bigger picture. We see conscious perception is layered in all aspects. We see space preparing in our direction. The future is being crunched into matter and the past stretched into light. Your world is literally split into two perceivable universes. The fractal nature of doubling shows that we may shift infinitely closer to perceiving the now, but may never achieve it. The now waking moment is literally one half past and one half future. Consciously, they become layered on top of each other to give us a smooth and easy experience we share. Through space preparation, we learn the true shape and nature of our reality. This warped geometry factor can then be applied to create structures that exist and interact with all of time. Space preparation and conscious crunching. What is matter and what is light? Are they not the same energy being perceived in two different ways, all created by a single motion? Let us now look more closely at the concept of space preparation in combination with conscious crunching. We know that habitable zones for human consciousness exist when we are accelerating at light speed. This allows human consciousness to properly harmonize with the natural flow of space-time to create an experience that consists of matter and light. Let's now look at an orbit through time and see how our accelerative reference frame warps a singular energy to create all experiences. The previous image shows a smooth field of a singular energy. The golden spot in the center would be the center of orbit. The lens represent our entire universe or experience. As our accelerative reference frame orbits the singularity of all time or experiences, it would create a warping factor based off time dilations and Lorentz contractions. This means that our perception is literally being stretched into existence as we orbit. This warping factor must be one that turns energy to light as well as energy to matter, and must also properly harmonize with the natural flow of space-time to create a steady state of manifesting reality. As we approach the now, in the future, you would see energy towards the center of time being crunched towards you, and energy further from time being stretched away. This crunching of energy is what creates matter. The stretching of energy is what creates light. As we leave the now, so in the past, you would see everything reverting back to its natural state. This means that the reverse effect would be happening. Energy that is towards the center of time would be stretching, creating light. Energy that is further from time would be crunching, turning to matter. After the event has fully left our accelerative magnifying lens, it would be in its original state that existed before we began to perceive it. There really is no matter or light. It is only differentiated when perceived. So how big is our entire reality? Is our conscious experience not completely stretched by an accelerative factor of the speed of light? Has matter not been crunched to that same degree? There exists a flow before and after it is experienced. From time atom, we see that each one of our conscious harmonics relates to a certain orbital distance from the center of time. by knowing our acceleration is equal to the speed of light and using a equal to v squared over r, we are able to calculate both the distance and velocity of conscious energy that creates our wall of perception. Complexity of experience. The easiest way to see the differences in densities of experience is to look at bits of information that may exist within our conscious antenna. The longer a waveform is, the less information it will emit per period of time. For example, a 1 Hz delta wave will only give you 1 bit of information per second. Meanwhile, an 80 Hz fast gamma wave would be able to give you 80 bits per second. This relationship is true for a linear perspective. However, we are considering all of time, and our creation is not linear. It exists within an accelerative bubble. Analyzing the magic sphere. The magic sphere is a great model to show the amount of information relating to each conscious harmonic. By analyzing the relationship of diameters between orbitals, we see that each harmonic of higher density is 25% the diameter of the harmonic below. For example, for 1 delta wave, 4 theta waves will fit across. When we rotate the relationship along the x and y axis, we see that our 4 more bits of information has turned to 16 bits. When you make the 3-dimensional model, you end up with 64 bits of theta information per every 1 sphere of delta information. This implies that your conscious antenna is receiving or harmonizing with 64 more times the information for every layer of density it travels. For example, theta will have 64 times the information than delta. Alpha would have 64 squared, which translates to 4096. The number continues by multiples of 64. Beta would relate to 64 cubed and have 262,000 times the information. Slow gamma would be near 17 million bits, and fast gamma near 1 billion bits of information for every delta sphere. Lights, shadows, and walls. How does this system work together to create the field of energy that we experience? Like lights passing objects and casting shadows onto walls, our experience is formed. From the image, we see our waking moment is created by 1/2 past and 1/2 future. As we approach, our matter is from the center of time and our light is from the outside. As we leave, our light is from the inside and our matter is from the outside. Our experience is an overlapping of the two. This shows that we receive both matter and light from the denser orbits of experience as well as the less dense, but the direction they are coming from is opposite. There is a layering or virtual wall of information that exists at all orbital distances. The layer of reality that you experience directly relates to the harmonization of your conscious antenna, aka the magic sphere. Evolution of consciousness. When experience first began, also known as the moment of the Big Bang, you could say that our universe was at the boundary of time. As it expanded, it also slowed down in its orbit, causing it to drift towards center. As our experience of the universe drifts closer and closer to the center of time, it follows the habitable spiral of perception. Each habitable distance or harmonic from center allows for a new experience or resonance to be created. Conscious beings would not be tuned to flows of space that have never existed. Therefore, in order for a being to gain a conscious harmonic, that flow of space must exist first. That being said, the first conscious wave type that would have come into existence would have been the longest waves. For human consciousness with prime multiplier of 2, that would be the 1.25 Hz delta wave, which has a diameter of 1 × 10⁻⁷ meters. The next conscious wave type that would come into existence would be the theta wave, followed by the alpha, the beta, the slow gamma, and ultimately fast gamma. Based on this model, you could say that the next conscious harmonic that will be appearing in human experience will be what we have named the omega wave, or Aliverse. This wave, or experience, relates to conscious harmonics ranging from 101 to 220 Hz, with an average of 160 Hz. The cloud diameter associated with this wave type would be 625 meters. When it comes to information, it would have approximately 70 billion bits per delta sphere. Ascension through time. From this model, you can see that the universe naturally drifts towards center as it matures or gains information from the fractal perspective outside our warped frame. While drifting inward, new conscious harmonics are formed. This natural drifting of our experience inward aligns with the pacing motions of all our lives and experiences. Both work in unity to bring you closer to the center of time. The silver spot. Now, considering the concept of the silver spot, we can say that the golden spot is the center of all moments or all time. Meanwhile, the silver spot represents your current life or manifestation. Because we exist, we also experience. Light state harmony at the moment of conscious shift, let's see if we can get this, there we go, determines where you will be starting your next life or experience. You, being a mind with wants, don't wants, assumptions, and expectations, will then pace about your silver spot as personal philosophy or ways change from experiences had. By the end of your conscious experience, the lessons learned in life would have shaped your magic sphere into a more harmonized version of yourself, thus allowing you to gain higher harmonics of density. In some cases, the pacing motion and lessons learned are not achieved. When this is the case, the silver spot may drift outward as it has become less harmonious and is therefore less able to create denser harmonics within the magic sphere. This lack of development typically stems from focusing on exterior, materialistic world versus your internal world. Many times people will become hypnotized by societal delusions which have been propagated by media and other overwhelming outlets. It is important to focus on your personal development and not worry about others. As Einstein said, worry is a misuse of imagination.